guys, so today I wanted to show you something a little bit different. I wanted to show you a day to nighttime transition look, and the one I have on right now is my nighttime look. And so when we start, I'll start with nothing on my face, show you what you can do for a daytime look, whether it's going to work, running errands, having meetings, and then you can transition into your date night, glam night, girls night out, anything you want look that's going to be a little bit more glamorous and fabulous. This little guy here didn't want to be alone today. He wanted some time with me. This is Coco, so you'll probably see him in and out of the video all day today. He's gabby. He's a little bit cranky today, but just didn't want to be alone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I can't wait to show it to you, so I'll see you in a little bit. Bye! Okay, so we're going to get started on this day to nighttime look, and we're going to start out with our daytime look. Something you can wear to work, something you can wear running errands, and then it's going to make a very easy transition to a date night look, a going out look. Something that's going to be a little bit more glamorous, but you're not going to have to wipe your whole face off, start over, wash your makeup off. None of that. You're just going to have to add a little touches here and there, and then you'll be good to go. So to get started, we're going to go in with our primer. I really like the Marc Jacobs primer that came out with the Remarkable Foundations. This one is infused with coconut. It smells great. I think it goes on great. It's a little bit milky of a consistency, but in dry winter weather, I think it works wonderfully. It really helps keep everything on my face moisturized, keeps my skin hydrated, and it keeps everything from melting off, drying, and cracking and flaking. Pretty much anything that you can think of from going inside, outside, into the hot, cold with winter weather. So we have our face prepped, and then we are going to go in with our foundation. Today I'm using the Elcie Micro Silk Foundation. I'm in the color Porcelain, and I really like this foundation because I think it goes on really great. It has a really great consistency, a really great color blendability, and it's really one that with winter time, it doesn't overhydrate me, it doesn't dry me out. It really stays on really well. It doesn't settle, it doesn't crack, it doesn't flake, crack. Do you hear that? Crack. It doesn't flake. So I'm just going to take my flat top kabuki, and I'm going to start by just dabbing it on, and then I'm going to blend it all out once I get that on. So once we have our foundation on, we're going to go in with our concealer. Today I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I'm going to be using the shade Fair Neutral. I also have the shade this is Light Neutral, and then I also have the shade Light Fair, or Neutral Fair. Can't get that together. So Neutral Light and Neutral Fair. There we go. So it all depends on if you want to look a little more natural, if you want to look a little more dewy and glowy. Today I just wanted to look a little more natural again because we are doing that transition look. So you just want to put it on your under eye area, and it may take some playing around to figure out what works best for you and what look you like the best, how it goes on for you the best. A little bit on the forehead, bridge of the nose, Cupid's bow, and chin. Well, hi there. I have a cat walking under my chair. So then we're going to go in with our sponge. I like the Real Technique sponge just because it has this flat edge that makes it easy to get into the corners of my eyes and as well as on my eyelids, just because this particular concealer, I really like using it for my eye primer. I think it has that great staying power. It doesn't really fall into the creases of my eyes. And then it will last me all day. It'll keep my foundation and my eyeshadow looking great all day. So we're just going to pat at this and dab it and blend it out. And then afterwards we're going to go in and we're going to set it. because anytime you use any kind of cream or liquid, you always want to set it, or else it could move, it could shift, it could melt, it could settle into any fine lines that you might have, and we don't want that happening, and so we're going to just set it all. I like to use the MAC Prep and Prime loose setting powder. I get mine in the translucent color, simply because I've tried different banana powders before, and they're just too yellow for my skin. So I like the translucent. So I'm using a Morphe G2 brush to do this. So you just want to dab it. And I'm going to go a little bit heavier on my under eye area. We are going to not so much super bake it, but I guess you could say we're going to nuke it a little bit. We're going to let it sit a little bit heavier and a little bit longer than the rest of the face, just so that we know that we won't have any kind of settling. So once I have that all set, then we're going to start going in with our eyes. And I think I have an eyelash falling. There we go. So I am going to start with using my Sigma E40. I'm going to go in with Beaches and Cream as my transition shade. And if you're somebody who has a smaller eye area like me, you don't want to go too high to the brow bone. Personally, I like to stay within the crease and just above the crease. Next, we are going to take our Sigma E25 brush, and we're going to take Country Girl from Makeup Geek. And on this one, we're going to just do on the outside edge and up into the crease a little bit. Now you notice I'm not going the entire way in, only because if I would go the entire way in, it would actually make my eye look smaller and almost make my eye disappear. And we don't want that. We want to actually give ourselves some nice accenting to our eyes, not so much make them disappear. Next, we're going in with Makeup Geek's Taupe Notch, and I'm going to be using this Sigma E45 pencil brush. And we are going to do the creases to add some more depth. So just the crease, you want to try to keep it off the lid. And then after we do that, we're going to go back in with our E40 and blend it. And lastly, we're going to go in then with Cherry Cola. And we're going to do the smaller pencil brush. This is the E30 from Sigma. And we're just going to take a little bit of it, and we're just going to go into the outer edges just to add a little bit more depth. Now you'll notice I'm not going too far beyond the outer corner. And again, that's just because this is a daytime look. We don't want to go too over the top. We don't want to be too dramatic yet. We'll get there. So I'm going in then with the Sigma Large Fluff Brush. This is the E50. Yes, it's the E50. And we're just going to blend everything inward. It's going to make everything just blend and almost have an ombre effect to it. But then it's going to give us a little bit more of that lighter daytime look before we need to go in and make it a little more dramatic. So we're just going to go in and just blend, blend, blend. So you're going to want to blend until you want to make it a sport. Now as you can see, it's a little bit lighter. It's not quite as dramatic as when we were first putting it on. That's okay because again, it's our daytime look. So then we're going to go in with a little bit of eyeliner. And for this daytime look, I'm going to be using a bronzy eyeliner. And it's not the one I want. Here it is. And I'm going to be using MAC's Teddy. But it's just this really pretty brownie bronze. And to do it, we're just going to rough line our eyes. We're not going to worry about it being too super careful. So we've rough lined it, and you can tell it's a little bit rough. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our smudge brush, and we're going to smudge it all out to give it a little bit more of a smoky effect without being too dark of a smoky. Now, I'm not going to do any lower lining. Personally, for me, I'm not a huge lower lash liner just because I have such a small eye. If I do that, it's going to make everything seem a little bit more squished. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to go in with the Tarte Inner Rim Liner. And it is a very, very light liner. And what that will do is that adds a little brightness to the inside of the eye, and it will help open it up a little bit. So I like to just do it on the my lower waterline. And it doesn't do too much. It doesn't all of a sudden give you, you know, like cartoon eyes that are open and popping out, but it gives you just enough. So then we're going to go in with a little bit of bronzer. Again, because this is a daytime look, we're not going to go too dark in our contouring. I'm going in with the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. This is the light medium bronzer. And then I'm going to just take an angled kabuki. I'm using the F84 from Sigma. Just tap it on a couple times. And you just want to go on the outer corners of the face. And then I do like to line where my contours are just because that will give you a little more of a sun-kissed look. But you don't want to use too much. You don't want to go too dark, too bronzed, or anything, because again, this is a daytime look. If you are in an office, if you're out running errands, you're not going to want to be too glammed up for it. So just enough to give you a little bit of color. You can see a little bit of the definition there, not too much though. And then we're going to go in with our blush. And I am, for my daytime look, I'm going to be using the Makeup Geek Bliss blush. So you just want to take whatever your favorite blush brush is, and then give yourself a little bit. And this won't give you too much of a color. It'll really just give you a little bit of a glow. So next, I like to do my brows after all of this. I am going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. Mine is in dark brown, just to touch them up. When we do our transition, I will show you an option that you can do if you want to give your brows a little more definition and a little bit more depth. So for the daytime look, we're just going to fill them in. And I don't need to do a whole lot to my eyebrows just because, again, I do have very full big brows to begin with. So I just like to touch them up, fill them in just a little bit. So then we're going to go in with a little bit of highlighter, and one of the ones that I like to use is Pearl. Now this is the Becca Holiday Palette, which I got and I love using. So for a daytime look, I just like to use Pearl. If I'm really going to like zhuzh it up or go all out, I will use the Champagne Pop or the bronzier blushed copper. Brushed? Nope, it's blushed. This whole time I've been calling it brushed copper. So just a little bit of the pearl just to give a little bit of a depth, a little shine, help accent that light bronzer. I like to do the V, so you want to just go on the outer temple and then down right under the eye. Just to cap off this whole daytime look, we just need to do mascara and a little bit of gloss. So for the mascara, I'm going to be using the Smashbox Full Exposure Mascara. And I like this one for, especially if I'm going to be doing like a daytime transition, or if I know I'm going to be needing to do something different later that night. I found that this personally wears a little bit better, wears a little longer, and it's easier to touch up if you feel like you're not having as much of the lashes as you want. And again, for the daytime look, I personally just like doing the top. I don't do the bottom lashes. So then just to top it all off, to finish off my daytime look, I'm going in with MAC's Angel Lip Gloss. So this is my daytime look. So stay tuned for just a minute and we'll be going into our nighttime look. Okay everyone, so you've done your day, you've run errands, been at work, been in meetings, whatever, and you barely have time to go home, to start over, to take off your makeup, start from scratch, whatever it is, but you are going out and you want to do something a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more of the flair, something a little bit more zhuzhed up, if you will. So we had the daytime look that we just took, and we're going to go into our nighttime look. So to start off, I like using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. What this really does is it doesn't loosen up your makeup. It doesn't do too much to your makeup. What it does is it almost gives you sort of a fresh canvas to start with. It just kind of revives your makeup, so then you can add a little bit, touch up a little bit, and really give yourself a different look when you don't have time to start over. So you just want to spray all over and just let it dry. And it helps revive and refresh your makeup, which I really like. So we have dried, and if you can see a little bit, it's kind of revived my makeup a little bit. Hasn't really done too much to it. Didn't take it off. It didn't do anything. It's just going to make it another layer that we can make work for us. And with this particular layer, you just want to be careful that you're not going to go too heavy, because at that point then it can be very easy to look like cakey clown makeup. So we don't want to do that. So the first thing we are going to start with is we're going to start with our eyes. I'm only going to touch up a little tiny bit on the eye. I think mine is already, what we did earlier is already really great foundation and base for a little bit more of a dramatic eye. So we're just going to go in just a tiny little bit and touch it up. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take Mocha from Makeup Geek in our E25. And we are just going to do the outer half. You're going to go within that Mocha. You're going to want to take it up to the crease. And as you can see, it's already darkened it up a little bit. Next thing that we're going to take is we're going to take Corrupt. Well, Corrupt is the one I'm using from Makeup Geek, or you could use MAC's Carbon. I have both. For this particular look, I prefer Corrupt over Carbon. And you're just going to take the very tip of the brush and just dab it. You don't want it to be too much, you just want it to be enough. And you're just going to go into the outer corner and really just pat that on. You're not going to want to brush it too much. And then finally, we're going to go in with Makeup Geek's Bitten. Very similar to Cherry Cola, but I think this one has a little bit more, a little different of an undertone. It's, I want to say Bitten's a little lighter than Cherry Cola on my skin, but I think it blends a little bit better with Corrupt. And then you're just going to pat that again, onto the outer edge. The only other brush we're going to use is our blending brush, our E40. And because you did the primer water spray, it should blend very easily onto your eye that you already had created. So we've got it all blended, and as you can see, it is a little darker. It's a little bit more for going out, for being a little more glam, and it was only 3 extra colors and 2 brushes. So then what we're going to do is we are going to line our eyes a little bit darker for this look. I'm going to be using the Sephora Diamond eyeliner. I'm just using the black and white one. These are really interesting eyeliners though, because they all are black, but each of them, if you can see, has a little shimmer to it. So I have the white, I have the red, the teal, and the pink, which is really cool because they're all black liners, but they have different sparkle in them. So we're just gonna, again, loosely line, because this particular eyeliner is also easy blending. And if you are leaving work, going out for date night or girls' night out, or have something you need to get dressed up with, and you don't want to fuss with doing a full wing liner, you don't want to fuss with doing anything like that, having a pencil like this and smudging it's going to be very easy. So I've done that with my eyes, and one of the things that I'm going to do to kind of bring the eyes up a little bit is I'm going to use the Subversion primer from Urban Decay. And I really like this because you can do this over top of mascara that you've already worn all day. And it's kind of a funny looking brush. It's a little bit flat. It's a little bit, it's kind of an ovalish brush, I guess you could say. It's not fully round. So just play with it and find which one works for you. I find that if I use the flat end of it, it works a little bit better for me. So I like to just do that at the ends of the lashes because that will give me that a little bit of an oomph once I reapply the mascara. And it goes on white, and that's okay, but because it gets covered up by your mascara. So it's not the end of the world. I'm using the Benefit Black, They're Real, and I used to love the Benefit Bad Gal Blue, but they don't make that anymore. So that was one of my favorites. But we're going to use the They're Real, and we're just going to go over top of the Subversion. And again, I'm still not doing a lower liner just because it's my personal preference. But if you want to, you could take the black liner that we did and smudge it down all across your lower lash line. I would not recommend doing it on the waterline just because some of those little sparkle pigments could get in and irritate your eyes. So I have now my little zhuzhed lashes, and we are going to go in and we are going to do a little contouring. So I'm using the Kat Von D Shade Light palette. I'm going to be using these 2 colors, and we're going to kind of blend them together a little bit. This is going to be the Morphe, I think it's the G3. It's worn off quite a bit, maybe G8, G3. So I'm going to start by going in with this tone. It's a little more cooler tone, which is great for making that shadow. You just want to dap a little bit, and then we are just going to go down our contour line. And if you sometimes have difficult finding your contour line, you can take it from, I like to go from the top of the ear down. You can do the fish lips, you can do the ducky face. So as you can see, it's that line. You just want to dab it. You don't want to go the whole way down. One of the things that I do like to do is I will go down to maybe just under where my eyes end. So this is where that is, and that's kind of right at the corner of my eye. And I'll do that, and that gives me a good contour line. Especially because we're going to be blending it out. We're not going to be keeping it this sharp. So I have that, and then I'm just going to take, again, my angled kabuki, and we're going to go in with this middle color. Again, tap, and then you're going to tap, and then you're going to start blending. Of your face and blend it down. You want to do like the 3E. And that doesn't work for everybody. I have a square face, so for me, that is the angle and I guess you could say the contour shape that works the best for me. So the important thing is to find what works best for your face shape. So I have contoured, I have done the face. You can tell some more angles are in my face. So then we're going to go in with our blush. And because I had used a little bit of an apricot, my apricot color earlier, we're going to go in and we're going to go in with this more peachy color, which is, it is Summer Fling from Makeup Geek. And again, I'm going to go in with the blush brush. And this one goes on very pigmented, so I just take a little tap, and then I tap it off. And then I go in. And you really want to blend it in along the bone, but I like to also blend it a little bit into the top of my contour. So you still have the contour, but you have that a little bit more of a flushy color to your face. And it's not too much, but it's just enough to give you a little bit of a glow. Lastly, well, not lastly, next to lastly, we are going to go in with our Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop. And I just like to use the Sigma Tapered highlighter. It's the F35. And I just like it for my highlighting. Added some of that highlight, as you can see. Yeah, a little highlighting. And then lastly, we're going to go in for our brows. And for going from the daytime to the nighttime look, I'm using the brow definer from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And the one I'm using is chocolate. So it's going to kind of accent and add a little bit more of a dimension and a depth to the dark brown that's already on my eyebrows. So with it, I am just going to go in, and again, I don't need to create eyebrows for myself, I just need to touch them up. Now, as for lips, you can pretty much do whatever you want. I'm going to still stick with my Angel lip gloss, because we have done such a dark eye and such a glamorous eye that I don't want to overshadow it. And it's something that then, at the very least with this, you don't have to worry about applying correctly. If you're on the go, you can just slap on some gloss and you can go. It's not something that you really have to worry about. So this is my nighttime look. This is when I need to go from a daytime to nighttime and I don't have much time. So this is, hi Coco. Sorry, he is right at the edge of the bed. Hi. Yeah, he's gabbing. So this is the look that I like to do to go to my nighttime look. And you can just let your hair down, go do your hair, get ready, and then you can be out the door and ready to go. So I hope you all enjoyed this transition video. If there's any other videos you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it, and so stay fabulous and keep rocking, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!